Desmond Quinn with Tiger Dance Yoga, and I'd like to talk to you today about chatturanga dandasana. It's one of the most common movements we use in any kind of vigorous flowing yoga like vinyasa or ashtanga. And because we do so much of it, it is a risk factor for repetitive stress injury if it's not done properly. So I'd like to talk to you about some cues you can use to make chatturanga dandasana safer and stronger. And those cues start at the hands. Come in closer a little bit, I'll show you what I mean. Now, when I'm teaching a class and we're doing anything where hands are on the mat and under load, anything like a downward facing dog or a handstand or even tabletop on all fours, I'll cue what I like to call tiger hands, and these are the elements. We start by thinking about the bottom of the knuckles, this area of the palm right here. That's the part that's going to ground first. You're going to ground about shoulder width apart. You're going to need to play with that a little bit to find the perfect width for you, but middle of the wrist, even with the outside of the shoulder, is what's most commonly recommended. So, bottoms of the knuckles ground, fingers are spread as wide as you can get them. Angle of the hands is going to depend a little bit on you too, but a good place to start is the middle fingers of the hands parallel to each other. So, ground the knuckles, fingers as wide as you can get them, middle fingers parallel, and then claw the mat with your fingertips as hard as you can. You want your fingernails turning white as you do this. The last piece is to twist your hands out. Right? Your hands don't actually move, you're just twisting against the friction of the mat here. And look what happens to my upper arm bones and elbows as I twist. Here I am relaxed, and as I twist, that rotates my upper arm bones out, sets my shoulders back, down, nice and solid. You want to maintain this whenever your hands are under load. In positions like downward facing dog, this is going to happen a lot of times. In particular, the knuckle of the index finger is going to want to pop up. Don't let it. All those knuckles are grounded, hands fingers are spread, and hands are twisting out, setting your shoulders nice and solid. That's the first thing to consider in chatturanga dandasana. The rest of it, we need to look at from the side. Come around, I'll show you. So, first off, chatturanga is a movement that challenges upper body strength, and a chaturanga from the plank position may not be accessible for you. In that case, it's perfectly acceptable to chaturanga from your knees, right? If you're there, you can lower knees and chaturanga there. That's just fine. Wherever you're chaturanga, maintaining your tiger hands through the whole movement, and you're only lowering until your arm bones are about parallel with the mat, or even a little bit less. You don't want your arm bones going any lower than that for the sake of your shoulders. So, tiger hands, tuck your tailbone to activate your core, and that. Now, the most challenging part of that movement for me is chaturangaing and keeping my weight forward as I go. The goal being to keep the forearms more or less vertical as you lower. Tiger hands, shoulders nice and solid, tail tucked to activate core, and you chaturanga not just down, but forward. Now the last piece of the puzzle I'd like you to consider is elbows, elbow position. And maybe we'll get you to move around again so you can see it from the front. So one of the most common form glitches I see in chatturanga dandasana is elbows flaring out in the motion. And that looks something like this. Somebody might have their tiger hands in place, nice solid plank, shoulders are back and down, everything's good, but when it comes time to lower, the elbows do that, and you don't want that. You want elbows in. You want to tuck them as close to your body as you can get. I like to cue elbows graze the rib cage on the way down. And that looks like this. So there you go. Tiger hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, twist, lower with your elbows tucked in as tightly as you can get them. Keep those shoulders back and down as you lower, and don't go lower than upper arm bones parallel before you transition to your next posture. Thanks for watching. See you next time.